Yes, Prof, I'm around.
Okay, I think let's kickstart the session. The rest will find us on the way.
All right.
Thank you.
Come.
The rest of the other
Good morning,
members
friends,
who are not
once
talking,
again.
please ensure you're muted.
Okay.
Other members, make sure your mics are muted.
Okay. Thank you once again, Prof, and thank you, members. A warm good morning and welcome to our other session. We are moving towards the close of our meeting this week. By the same time, till the start of the whole process, because much is to be done by yourselves. My name once again is Joseph, and I'll be taking you through today, part of today. And we have two sets of things to do. One, we have the practical bit, and you also have the theory bit. I just want to have another gadget here put online for me to be able to see what you're seeing. I don't want to be caught off guard at some point. Today we have a number of things to cover. One, we have an outline of what we intend to do today, and that is the morning session. And I believe that once this is done, it will give us an idea of what we need to do as teachers, and also what our learners will be able to see at the end of the day. Looking through this, we have a number of collaboration tools that we can talk about. There are quite many. We picked out discussion forums and chat rooms. We have online groups. We have books and resources, and then URLs as referencing materials. And then lastly, you'll have a kind of an assessment where you're supposed to do a practice yourself. So having that in mind, it takes me direct to one of the things that we've mentioned here as discussion forums and chat rooms. And I want to start with chat rooms. Before I proceed, this also goes back to the same LMS that we've been using. We have a number of things, activities that are there for us to practice. So it's simply building on to what we have already started this week. So forums and a learning management system. Just like you see message boards, the way you see WhatsApp messages, the way you see Facebook, some of these forums work in the same way, where both the instructors or lecturers and students can actually post each other messages, and at the same time, you can track individual conversations. When a student posts something onto a forum, other students will be able to post back to the same forum, either in response to their post, or if not response to their posts, then probably also the lecturer can respond, or they can also respond to the lecturer's posts or the instructor's posts. We believe and we want to let you know that this is basically one of the primary tools for online discussions, and it's very central. It's very central. It's an central organizing feature in the course social format. If you're going to design your course in a social format, I don't know if you looked at this before, But if you're designing your course in a social format, this is very key. But even in non-social format course, a discussion forum is very key, as we shall see, that it helps you to have files such as images and media being read within the same forum. The image we have there looks not very clear. We are going to have a clear image when it comes to the discussion itself. And you as a lecturer or a teacher, as an instructor, you can actually choose to grade the posts, the forum posts. Because within the forum itself, it's an activity. Which activity you want your learners to engage, to have your learners engaged within the activity. And to make it more interesting, that's why it is important that you grade it such that whoever does not contribute to your forum loses that mark, or whoever contributes, because it promotes at some point, as we shall see, promotes peer-to-peer kind of interactions. Now, a glimpse into what a forum is. As long as a forum has been set, as we shall see how to set it, students can access the forum icon on their course page. And once they have accessed it, as you see in this section here, it says this forum is discussing all aspects of lakes, poets, including their lives, backgrounds, and even personal experiences that you may have had. So this is one of the things that these people are looking at. And by doing this, by having this, they will be able to click at the link. This is the link. Lex Forum is the link of the forum. It gives them this kind of view of future. From this to this forum, such that whenever any other person or any other student or even the instructor or lecturer posts anything to that specific forum, they will be getting notifications of any new posts as they would be made. That is 1. 2. They're also given, as we shall see later on, standards or the forum types. We have a standard type, we have a single discussion, there are so many as we shall see them later on. So having this together gives you a glimpse of the day. Then a student can also sort these discussions. And the process, also students have an option to go to the advanced section for them to be able to have advanced features like a text editor, that is 1. 2, even an option to upload any specific file, the LMS. So this gives us the future to be able to have those extra features available for the students to be able to proceed with the forum. On the other hand, the teacher also has a different view, not very much different from the students, but because you're a teacher, you have all of what you need to make sure that your forum is you're the one in charge and in control of your forum. Okay. So within the same forum, as a lecturer, you have like 3 dots. You have 3 dots and subscription option, or I can have a subscription turned on as a button. However, if I take you back, as we shall see, we can also force these learners to automatically be subscribed to our forum. That as long as they are part of our course unit, as long as they are part of our unit, our course, and they have been enrolled into that course, then as soon as you put the forum, they are automatically enrolled, or you can forcefully enroll them into that particular forum. You can also make private replies as an instructor or a teacher under your profile, which they don't have at their end. So they can either write to you as an instructor, or they can respond to the rest, but they cannot respond to each other privately. Now, in addition to this, as long as one is sending a private message back to the student as an instructor or a teacher, this option here, as we see here, will be very much available for you to tick. And the moment you take this option, then you will be good to go. One thing I need to mention here is that as we discussed, especially in this last chapter, there are other things that we may come across in response. One can respond can also have a permalink. And this is simply a static hyperlink. I also need to note to let you know that posts under this section of the forum, usually they are given 30 minutes. Beyond the 30 minutes, a student cannot change what they have posted. But you as a lecturer, you can make the changes. And this time lag is always set by the systems administrator and can be changed at any moment in time. Going forward, whenever we are accessing these forums, I also need to mention that these forums are not they are not real time. When you're having your text message, your WhatsApp message, that is a real time kind of interaction. A forum is not a real time kind of interaction, and users can post at any time as long as the forum is open. Whenever a forum is open, users can post to that forum, and when a forum closes, as we shall see the settings, then users cannot post anything to the forum. And as we said, they are very much useful for students to know what they think about specific questions or specific topics of discussion within a specific class. They are also very good to carry on with discussions that were never completed in a specific class that you are teaching, or even among among the many other options. Like I said in the settings, we have certain restrictions to a forum that allow us to limit students on when they can access the forum until what time the forum will end. This comes into the availability section. Depending on the reason and the importance of the forum you're putting up for these students, this will basically determine the time frame that you're going to give that kind of discussion. Usually the default timeline is standard is for the default forum is for general use, which is a standard forum for general use. This basically allows the students or the learners to be able to start up discussions and also to respond to other people's discussions. And usually it gives a view of this particular on this slide I've just moved back to. A student will have an option to add a discussion topic, which means that the topic of discussion, as long as this has been posted, they can add a new topic in relation to what the instructor or the lecturer or the facilitator did put up for discussion. And once discussions are made, then the names will keep appearing down here. So on the side of the students, they'll be able to subscribe, as I said, and all the names of those who have responded will be displayed down in that section. Still under forum settings, in case you prefer students to contribute to a single discussion question posted by you, where there is no flexibility of what is being discussed, and you don't want them to keep having their own kind of topics being brought up, then the best option to use would be a single, simple discussion forum standard. Among the forum options, when you're looking at forum types, that's when you're able to choose this. So you can change it at any time when you feel it is appropriate. In brief, discover that forums are not real time. That is one. Two, users can post to a discussion at any time as long as the forum is open. Three, forums are also useful to know what students think about a specific topic, question, or topic. And they're also very good to carry on with discussions that were never completed in a class, among many other uses. So this is just a glimpse of what a forum is all about. So we are going to find some time and actually forum. Someone's microphone. Someone's microphone. Someone called user. Please mute your microphone. We are getting an echo, a feedback. Apologies, Vera, that has been done. Okay, so I got my 8 learning, which is where we're supposed to be, all of us. And under 8 learning, we can set up a forum. Okay, we go to our course. Can we access our course units? Those of you who are able to log in, at least 1 or 2 people, because I'll be requesting one of us to display what they have at their end. Let me see. Oh, I see Saka is around. Sarah and Vera. I may call upon any of you to help us display what we are going through. So get ready. I don't want to simply ambush you. Okay. One of the most important things the moment you get to your page as a teacher or as a lecturer or an instructor, and we've been mentioning this all along, it is an element of making use of the turn on editing, because that gives you the editing mode of your course unit. So under turn on editing, you turn on your editing, and once that is done, then you have an option to move to where your unit is, also move to where you want to put the content. So today we want to look at online learning activities and engagement, and that is what we are looking at today. A number of things I've been able to put up here, and I think I should make it available now. I should make it available at some point to the different students. So how do we set it up? As long as you've turned on editing, you go to a forum. We have one already set up here, which is about content development, and says review the recording here attached as we shall see it. So you'll come to add activity or resource. Pick an activity that you want to add, which is a forum. It's a forum. Come and give your forum a name. Maybe review of days 1 to 4. Uh, 1 to 4. Then you can describe whatever you want them to do. There are two ways. You can describe whatever you want them to do, or you can simply even attach a link to these people for so they can review a specific link. If it is a link, for example, so I've been looking at this. This is what we are doing today. Okay, if you look, this is what we are having today. So if you want to include this link as part of what you need to give them, let me take off audio for purposes of not giving you feedback. Simply come to right click within the video and copy the URL or the universal resource locator. Go to your e-learning, which is this. Put a few words, maybe dear students, they are having a review of days 1 to 4. Starting today, kindly watch the recording. Now we have these buttons here. You can expand this window for to be able to get more other functions within the text editor section. This is for underlining. This is for this is strike through, subscript, superscript, and so on, alignment, tables, and so on, depending on what you want to add within your work. Now, what I'm interested in, I want to add a link. So this is for me to be able to add a link. I'll go to, I click at it, I'll paste my link in here that I copied. I may decide to open it in a new window, or I can leave it within the LMS. If it's a new window, simply tick and say create link. Not ever forget to display this onto the student's page. So the moment you click at display on the student's page, then it will be available at their end the moment they are able to log in. Now you come to the forum type, as we had mentioned. We have a number of them. There is a single, simple discussion, as I mentioned. That means it is online who is guiding this kind of discussion. There is another where each person posts a discussion, question and answer forum, then a standard forum, which is in the block-like format, and also a standard forum for general use. The default is always for the last one for general use. So depending on what you want to have at the end of the day, then you choose a specific forum. Because we say it might be a graded item, then you go to availability. This timing is always in 24-hour clock. So what you do, you enable the due date when you expect responses to come through. And also you go to the cutoff date when you hope that students beyond that date, no student should be able to post anything onto this specific forum. Once you're done, maybe today this is 11:31, then you can change this to probably at 2. This is at 8 p.m. And once this is done, Then down we have, because you want these people to participate, there are two options. One, you can let them attach if they to make any attachments, and that's when you go to the attachments word section. You click at attachments, and then you specify the maximum number and maximum size of the attachment that you want your learners to send you. Maybe 1 MB. You can limit the number of attachments. That means they can respond as many times as attachments as 9 attachments at one in that particular forum. And then you may decide to have a word count. If you want to have a word, that means you're going to let them type within a space provided. They'll have a space like this where they are going to provide for them to be able to type their responses. In such a scenario, then you choose the word display word count for them to know how much they have so far typed. Then you can do the locking, which is at a later time. These are other options that you can keep trying out. Now I want to look at the subscription bit. We said, if you remember what we looked at, that each student had a button that they had to toggle over for them to activate subscription. This means that it was made to be an optional subscription. The student can decide to subscribe or not subscribe. But as an instructor, a course facilitator, you may want that these students must be forced to subscribe, whether they want it or not, because it is their course, and they must participate in this particular course unit. So you can go to either forced subscription, or you can let the system subscribe them, as long as whoever comes into the course unit will be subscribed to this particular forum. And then the last one is disabling this particular feature. So the moment you say forced subscription, then read tracking, which is optional, you can leave it to optional, because when you take it off, then it becomes that means you'll not be able to track anything. Now you can go down to this post threshold for blocking. People don't respond very well. What do you do? But I'll move down to restrict activity completion, common mode settings, and also activity completion. As we move ahead, we are going to look at groups and groupings within this very session. Now, if you had set groups and groupings, then this is when they would apply. You would come and set the group that you want to any of these two options. We shall be looking at what it means to have separate groups and what it means to have visible groups. Then activity completion, it's very important. Remember, you want the system to be able to monitor whatever they do. So you come to activity completion and say, show activity as complete when conditions are met. What are those conditions? One, the student must view this activity to have it completed. And for this to be completed, again, there are other constraints that must be fulfilled. One, the student must post a discussion or even a reply. Limiting it to one is being very, very unfair. Because you want participation to take place, you can limit it to 4 or 5. Then they must also create their own, at least they should create 2 discussions. And also they must respond to other people's and critique other people's posts, at least maybe 5. That means unless a student does all these, the 4 discussion or replies, the 2 creation of discussions, and the replies of 5, unless these are fulfilled, that activity will not be marked complete. Remember, we have a set of class of students who always want to access and leave, and the system keeps marking that they have finished the activity. So we want to put some constraint to make sure that they participate in this specific activity. Then you can put the date within which you expect it to be completed. This must rhyme with the cutoff date. Our cutoff date is 21st, which is today at 8 p.m. 8:31 minutes. So you go back to down here, and then you change this to 20 hours. 20 hours and 31 minutes. And once this is done, then you save and return to course. This is basically what a discussion looks like. Okay, can I have, so if you, this is what we've so far, we put this this morning, that someone will be able to go through this recording, and once they're able to go through the recording, then they'll be able to provide their input. Can I have, I want to pick at random, who is willing to volunteer? Vera? Can you volunteer and share your screen with us, please? Oh, thank you. Please share your screen. Thank you. Okay. I want you to go to, okay, that is one discussion. Can we have other people responding? Okay, that's lovely. Can you respond to one of those? Okay, you've already responded. Okay. Can I see other people responding? I think this is lovely. Oh yes, Bernadette, thank you. Can you share your screen, Bernadette, also? We want to see what is at your end. And good morning, how is Benin? Share your screen, Bernadette. Okay, I think that is so far not bad. We can, that is discussion. Share my screen again. So I think this is what we have so far. Now you discover that as a teacher, you have access to all the details of this particular unit. So as of today, Thursday, we have so far 2 discussions started. Rather, these are the settings that have been set our session. You must make at least 1 post, 4 replies, and at least have 2 discussions for this activity to be marked complete. Now, once you do that, that is when you can actually go ahead and move on to the next activity. So it is important that you try it out so we see what is happening. Felix has already responded as well. I made say to subscribe Felix. So that is subscription. You also discover that these are the 3 buttons that we had here. That means I can either start this discussion, I can pin this, I can even lock this discussion. Okay. So for you to be able to see what he has said, you click at the discussion name, what he has put as challenges. Through these challenges, you look at, he said the internet is a challenge. You have a permalink, you have edit, delete, and reply as an instructor. You can delete a student's post, but you can also reply and probably guide the student. You remember your role here is a facilitator You're trying to help them develop a skill. For them to be able to develop a skill, you must be able to guide them. So you come in to guide. And as we said, this is not real time, it is not instant. Okay, thank you. We can move on to a chat. Okay. So after having looked at this, the forums, we now want to have a look at the charts. What is involved within charts? In any given chart, friends on call would want to explain, or I would want to explain this morning, how instructors and students can interact using or use the chat activity, but also be able to explore ways to make the chat or to make the most out of the learning management system. The activity of the chat enables participants to have a text-based real-time kind of response. The way you do it on WhatsApp, the way you do it on a chat under Gmail or Google Talk or for long ago and so on is the same way we do the chat here. They are very much useful because one would ask why a chat. Okay, they're a very much useful way to get different understanding of each other and the topic being discussed to be understood quite better and in simpler terms. So if you seek to look at regular meetings of students participating in an online class, then a chat is good for you. If you look at if you are temporarily unable to attend in person a specific session, then you can opt to have a chat session for your learners, for them to be able to catch up and also allow them to catch up with work. That is both on the side of students and on the side of the instructor. It is also an avenue where we have a question and answer session with a teacher or any other invited speaker in a different location. You could be in different location probably. One is out of your country. Now we are here and you're wherever you are. Then a chat session will also be very good for us to have some content synchronized better within our heads. If you're a teacher or an instructor, facilitator, working with students even though you're out of school, this is excellent for you. Students on work experience, maybe they have gone for internship placement somewhere and you want them to get that learning experience they have gained from wherever they are. Share it with the rest of the other students that are still on campus. Then a chat session will also be very handy and very, very important for you. So within this chat session, there are certain rules that we have to look at. Okay. One, a chat must not last for more than an hour. And that is when it will be very, very fruitful for everybody. And it is very necessary that some rules are followed to the dot. So one of the things that you need to look at is socializing before. So this means that once you set up this chat, you must be in the chat room earlier than anyone as an instructor. Why? At least 5 to 10 minutes before the agreed start time so that you welcome participants and even lay a proper foundation for your chat. Two, should you come late, it is important that you don't simply say, you don't start by greeting those who are already in the chat room. Why? Because they're already there and they are moving on. This applies to both students or learners and also facilitators or instructors or teachers. Okay? Don't say hello or how are you? Here I am sorry, but, and so on and so on and so forth. Why? Because you're already late. Greeting has already started and the chat has moved on. So as you come in, you simply start from wherever they are and then you carry on with the rest of the chat session period. It is important that you scroll through and find out where the discussion is at a moment in time, and then you join in from there. Why? because it has already moved on. So you must provide a conducive environment for them to be able to also continue with their learning. But also, if you start saying hello, then you're going to distract all the other learners within that same chat room. They will lose focus on what they have been discussing, come back to you to greet you, and then go back. That is already disorganizing these students. Text color is very, very important as you go through these charts. So try to avoid posting multiple lines once or two long paragraphs when you're discussing or when you're chatting in a discussion. This will fill the message box and even other postings that are already visible. Another posting will not be visible for the rest of your participants within the chat room. So you must be precise and concise when you're discussing in the chat. Respect. Respect is very, very important. All participants have to show respect regarding sex, race, religion, ethnicity of any other attending participants. So as a participant in any given chat session, these I must do for you such that you have a good and thorough kind of chat session running. In terms of color, which I didn't explain very well, the LMS has a color, and these are like three colors. There's one color for participants, which is always blue, white for the facilitator, and also a pale yellow for the moderator. So depending on the role you have in that particular chat room, then those colors will actually apply. Capital letters are very, very important, and sometimes they communicate quite a lot. So as you go through your work, sometimes they may display rudeness. So the capital letters should not, unless otherwise, but try to avoid the use of capital letters in any given chat room. Actually, using capital letters has a meaning of shouting at someone. If you ever want to shout at someone, which is not appropriate for a chat, then you'll be able to use those capital letters. Okay. Topics and content. It is important that you go through this work, of course. The topics of discussion. Before you start a chat, make sure that your work, you've actually been able to go through that work and you look at the different topics. Prepare. Give yourself some time. Give yourself some time. Okay. And as you give yourself some time, then you'll be able to plan your chat session very, very well and it will be very fruitful. Then, of course, preparation is also there. Now, the display of names in the chat room happens in such a way that you will not be able to see your name, but your colleagues will be able to see that your name is there. So don't look for your name in any given chat room, but rather, as long as you are connected, simply go ahead and start chatting. You will be able to see other people's names. It has existing themes. There are so many themes within the chat room. So depending on what you want to do, then you must use an appropriate theme. There are basically two themes. One you can choose from. One is a compact theme, and the other one is a bubble theme. They're always found beside the send button. The send button to enable a user change the appearance of the messages within that specific chat. Then there is a talk and beep, and that means if you want to send a message to any one participant only, find their name in the list, click talk, and then the message will be sent. Remember, this is not a private a message. So we'll be able to, we're seeing how do we join a chat. Of course, this is available on the LMS, but how do you join a chat? Joining a chat, you always look at the chat that has been set up, the link which has been set. Maybe this is course chat. You go to, we have three options. If the chat has happened before, you'll be able to see view past chat sessions in your abscess, then that's where you'll go. But since you're going in for the actual chat, then you go to click here to enter the chat now, because it has been scheduled to take place at a specific point in time. Maybe I can do the practical bit of this for us to get the feel. Okay. Let me go to the practical bit of it. There is a chat that was set up down here, and I want us to get a difference between a chat and a forum. For a forum, this is the icon for a forum, and for chat, the icon is totally different. Okay, so let me make this available for people to be able to see what it is all about. Or before that, I need to create one for you to see how a chat is created. You go to add activity or resource. Among the different activities available, look out for a chat session. Select chat, give your chat a name, maybe session. You can describe what you want them to do here in this description page. Tick, display on course description. Then you have the chat sessions. How do you want the chat session to take place? This is for a specific day, and that is of today and 11 p.m. If we do this, then that means the chat is very much available. If you want to change the timing here, simply come to the calendar, choose any other specific date, and choose the time plus the month, then all of those will change. The second one is repeat publish session times. Now, this is when how often do you want to have your chat? You can have a chat at this very hour, every time, every day. You can have it once a week. This is every week. You can simply have a one time of chat. Depending on what you want to do, you choose the most appropriate. 3, usually it is always set to never delete chat sessions. Why? Because we have a scenario where students come and join our classes at a later time in a semester during the course, the program period of the program. Because you want them to be part of your sessions and also to learn what they may have missed in your absence, then it is set to never delete messages. And then everyone can view past chats. Okay, it says no. You can either change it to yes because you want everyone to see. But because you only want those enrolled into your course to be able to see, then you leave it to a no. So that means whoever is only part of your course will be the ones to be able to see the past chat sessions. There's activity completion as well, where you set an activity to be completed when certain conditions are made, put the conditions, and then you'll be good to go. Then common mode settings. Now, this is already available. The other trick is always here on the groups, which groups we have not yet done, and we'll be able to see these groups at some point. So if you have any groups, that's when you attach these groups, and then you're able to move ahead. Once all that is done, click save and return to course. You will have finished setting up your chat activity, and this is where it is. If you don't want it, feel free to go and remove it from your course. So we have a chat session here, which is this. I want you to access this, and we can have a simple chat. I am in, so I click here to enter chat. We want to see people coming in and joining our chat. I want to see some people joining the chat. Remember, this is a practical session. We want to be able to do some of these things. Okay, Tokas, thank you. You're welcome. Good, Felix. Okay. Now, this is what happens. As long as you've come in early, you'll be able to see these people. So we spoke of the themes. The themes are down here. Okay. Now, someone is asking that what's the topic of today's chat? Okay. Now, if you notice, you didn't read. Okay. If you notice, this is where the discussion is all about. Open book exam. Let us have an insight of our expectations. Okay, and that is what we want to discuss today, this morning actually. Okay, so we want to see, okay, the themes are down here. We have bubble and compact. If you chose bubble, that's how bubble is going to rearrange your work. Okay, so it posts what I have typed, and when you keep typing through, you'll be able to see others actually coming in. If you change to, I think that was compact, we change to bubble. That's what bubble does. Okay. So, and this is how the chat happens. It is in real time. You as a facilitator, you're able to take on the role of a facilitator, and then you can guide your learners. Okay. Talk and beep. So, for example, assuming I don't see anything from Docus, I'll simply talk. I'll beep Anasazi, and then I can type something. So wherever they are, then wherever she is, she'll be able to get this message. It's like a wake up and say, hey, it's an alarm. What is happening? You're not responding. Okay. So if you want to send messages to one participant only, find their name in the list and click talk. So if I wanted to speak to only talk to her, tell her what I need to tell her, I'll simply say, okay. I'll say talk. Then I say, now when you say talk, the name of the person you clicked at will appear. Like you say at so and so. Okay. So now that message has been directed to a specific individual, and that is Emma. Now, once Emma leaves the chat, this is what will happen. Whoever leaves, you see so and so has left, so and so has left, so and so has left until we are done. Okay. Joseph, share your screen with us. Share your screen, Joseph, with us, and then we see where you have a challenge, just in case. Feel free.
Okay, let me try to share the screen with you.
Great, so thank you.
So that you can help me out. Let me get just a minute. Let me exit full screen. And then we have this e-learning screen again. So screen. This is,
Okay, yeah.
yes. Where is the chat?
Okay. Move down. Move down to today's topic. Continue down. Continue. Now, there under e-learning, we have a brainstorming session. This. You see this brainstorming session?
Where?
Down?
Oh, yes, this one.
Yes.
Yes.
So click at that. Then enter chat. So it will give you the users who are already now on the chat discussing. Then for you go to click here to enter chat now.
Okay.
And then you're in. Now,
Yes.
because you've just come in, you'll not be able to see what you have discussed. So you can simply start from there and proceed the rest of the other posts and all the other colleagues that are within the same chat room.
Thank you.
That's how it happens.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. In the event that you've missed a chat session, before you leave, Joseph, in the event that you missed a chat session,
Yes.
it happened you are unable to access the session at the time it was there, you can close this to leave the session.
Okay.
Then I show you something. No. Continue. Keep sharing your screen, please. Keep sharing your screen. Apologies. Close the chat session itself. Only the chat session. Okay. You go back to the chat itself. There is view past chat sessions.
Yes, I'm there.
Can we see the screen that you see when you say view chat session, past chat sessions?
Here it is.
Now you say see this session, bottom right corner, sorry.
Yes.
See this session, and
Do I
then you
click
can
on it?
see, yes, click at it.
Okay.
Then you'll be able to see whatever they discussed in your absence and who sent what to who. Okay.
Okay.
Any other person having a challenge? Do you have any other person having a challenge? Okay, if there is none, then I can stop sharing and then we move on to something new.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, so we've seen how to join a chat. Click here to enter chat now. We can send messages. I think this is very good and very, very interesting. So I want to look at another item, and that is basically the online groups. If I may ask, for purposes of trying to make sure we are on the same page, Peter, Kirui, Mr. Peter.
Yes, we're on the same page. Thank you.
Good. Now, when would you want to use in a physical class? When do you use a group, and of what importance is it? Feel free, Peter. And also Saka, when would you use a group in any physical class, and for what reason? Good morning, Bernadette. Okay, people are fearing to speak. Okay. Now, a group in any given environment, yes, sir? If, for example,
Yes, sir.
yes, when would you use a group?
Yes, in a physical class,
Mm.
we use a group to allow the student to share his opinion, his ideas to the other members, and to help them to make a point of the different view to share also with the whole class after their work at my
Okay,
point
great.
of view.
So in real time, sometimes even make breakout sessions. You send people in different groups, say go to this group, go to that group, discuss, come back, present, things like that. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You were asking the goal of the group, putting students in different group in a physical class session. Is that your question, right?
That is very true. Yeah, that is very true. And thank you. I got it. So in an online class, a group also does the same thing. But because you're not very sure of where they are, okay, so you tend to group these people together. For example, you want them to discuss a topic within their own groups and within a single forum. That could be one scenario. Two, or maybe an example is for students who have submitted an assignment and you want just to see the submission. That is the other way. So you are sharing an LMS space with other teachers and you want to be able to manage your own people. Okay, manage your own people. So how would you do it? You want to allocate a particular activity, a particular resource, or even a topic or a section of the topic to a certain specific set of users, while at the same time you're restricting others from accessing that particular content. That is when the online groups become very, very important. So the LMS or even Moodle for this for this particular session would give you that capability to allow you group your learners. A moment. To allow your learners be able to exchange and be able to discuss at their own time in their own groups, and then later on they can now come and submit. The beauty is, if one group you give an assignment to a specific group and you want them to discuss this particular assignment, when they submit as a group. So when you're marking, you mark it as a group. Even on the system, when they submit the assignment, as long as they're in that specific group that you've set up, they'll be able to submit this as one person submits on behalf of the other group. And whoever submits, then the same submission will be duplicated to the rest of the other members of the groups. So even when you're doing the marking, as long as you've done the marking, the marks will be distributed in that specific group to the rest of those other members within that specific group. Okay. Within that specific group. These groups can be set to either being no groups or visible groups or even separate groups. Now, this separation also depends on what you want to get at the end of the day. Okay? What do you want to have? Do you want members of group X to be able to see and know what members of group Y are discussing? Or you want this to remain anonymous? Okay? So that group X discusses their work, group Y discusses their work, group Z discusses their work, probably come back and each of them makes a one member makes a presentation in those groups, and then we get to learn from each of the groups. This is what it is all about. So you can have an assignment given to group X, where group Y will never know and Z will never know which assignment was given to them. And that is under separate groups. In the event that you want each group to know which question is being discussed by the other group, then you're going to set it to. Thank you, Francis. So these groups refer to the group modes. These are the greatest benefits. Group modes provide the greatest benefits of using groups. For example, okay, announcements. Now, these announcements they can be targeted spans. If I have 100 participants in my course unit, and for one reason or the other, as I want to only give out a specific course unit to group X, I've grouped my people into 5 groups or 10 groups. I want group A to be able to do some work. So I am able to pass out announcements tagged to a specific group, or even groupings of all the participants. With both the discussion forum and the questions, I can attach a single forum into your model space or LMS space to each specific group. And with this, I'll only be able to use the separate group such that each group is only able to see their chat session. And then the visible group, if I say visible, that means you all be able to see your other chat sessions. We are going to try this out as well. Then if it is an assignment, that means that each student in that particular group will receive the same grade and the same feedback. Why? Because you've been able to group these people together in
You are
that
not so clear, please.
Group.
You
Okay.
There is interruption. Huh?
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's now clear.
Good. Let me repeat. We said that group modes provide the greatest benefits of using groups. And in so doing, we look at examples like in announcements. If you have 100 participants, you group these 100 participants into 5 groups, and you only want specific group Y to receive a certain type of announcement, then you're going to put the announcement and target a specific group. So you're doing a target kind of communication. You're not broadcasting. If it is a discussion forum, as you've seen in our discussion forums, you set up a discussion forum either through a single or simple, then attach it to a specific group. Now, depending on the idea behind the group, the discussion forum, you may want to have a discussion forum in a separate group mode. Why? Because you don't want any other member from any other discussion forum to be able to see what others are discussing about. Then that's when you use a separate group mode. When you
Joseph, the network is not so good. You're breaking. Joseph, are you there? Oh, it's my
Now,
network. Yeah, colleagues, apologies. The network is not so good where Joseph is, but he's getting back.
thank you. I am back. Okay, all right. Apologies for that hiccup. We said we can attach assignments to groups either in a separate mode or in a visible mode. Discussions can also be, forums can also be in either separate mode, group mode, or visible group mode. And we are going to illustrate this practically towards the end of this particular session. So for us to create groups, it's very visible that you go to turn editing on as we did, an activity or resource, that's what you add. And then on your left hand side, you're able to find the course, it's course, let me see. You're able to find course administration, this one here. Under course administration, you'll go to users, and under users, you'll come across groups. So that's why we see the groups here in this section. Now, the moment you click at groups, then you're going to get this particular window for you to be able to start putting up the different groups. And at this point, allow me to go ahead and take you through on how we can easily create groups. I have a question. How do you cater for those that have not participated in a group mode? Of course, it is you as an instructor that will be able to group these people based on their competences as you know them. Because you want them to learn something. So you know X, Y, Z. If I put X and Z, I'll make a good combination. That is okay. But there is also an option whereby you randomly place these people in different groups. So that means those who are not part of any of the groups, then you have to manually grade them and also give them the marks that they deserve. Otherwise, as long as new people come and join you, you must attach them to specific groups. But there's also an option that as you're setting up these groups, you can provide an enrollment key that you say so and so will go to group Y. They click at group X or group Y, they're able to put in a password and then they're able to get that specific group. Okay. Allow me go.
Joseph, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
If you use the normal, like the Zoom and the Google Meet, for example, do they have? They usually have these breakout sessions.
True.
Is it possible to assign the group according to, let's say, I'm assigning you, or it's usually done randomly? It's usually you have these break sessions where you can put the students, but I don't know if it's only random or you can do it also.
Okay, this is how it would happen. If you have a Zoom account or Google Meet and you have breakout sessions, you can decide to pre-configure breakout sessions under your Zoom. And you say breakout session A is for group Y, B is for group this is for group X. Now you go to your e-learning, and because now you must have been must have added Zoom as an application.
Please, I didn't get part of some of the thing. Maybe can you begin again, please?
Okay. You'll first of all do the following. One, you'll go to your LMS, set up these groups, and probably define them. Let them know that for group X, the moment you log into this link of Zoom, move to breakout session X. Group Y, move to breakout session Y. Something like that. Okay? Maybe, I don't know if I can do a demonstration here. Okay, 8 learning. Now, since we are going to be doing groups, so we are going to have a scenario where we can have groups, even have them within Zoom at some point. Okay. So we go to e-learning. Go to your course unit. You move to a topic or section where you want to have groups. Before you do that, you must have turn editing on, because you'll be making some changes. Then go to course administration. You come to groups. Then we have our groups available, the section for groups. So one we have, this is the course unit that we are working with. We can create groups, we can auto-create groups, or we can simply import what we have already created. Take an example. You're running a semester, and along the way, the pandemic came in, you were cut short, but you had created groups for your learners. Now you've moved on to the online teaching. You want to maintain those groups. So what you do, you put these groups in an Excel format, save it in a CSV file. Then when you come to import, come to groups and import groups. Then put your CSV file here. After putting your CSV file here, click at import groups. Your groups will be created under your LMS. That means you're carrying forward what you had prepared in a physical environment. You're moving it forward to the online environment. You don't need to recreate things because you know them. The option would be for you to auto-create groups. You'll go to auto-create groups. Now this one, for example, in this course, we are quite many. If you go to participants, for example, what does it say? The number is quite big. We are about 40. Okay. So if you're 40 and you want to have, let me see, 40. Uh, 40 by 7. That's about, assuming we want to have 7 groups and we are 40. Okay. So what happens? That means we shall have some people missing out on groups. Now, what the auto group feature does under groups, you can decide to stop a creation of the last small group under auto create groups. Because in the physical environment, he will say, so and so, these people are very many, join this, join that. The second, you don't have an 8th group, we want 7. So here you have a group name, you can give it a name of your choice. Now you can create your groups based on numbers, or you can numbers per group. Okay. Assuming I want to have 5 people. So I want to have 5 people per group. That will give me about 8. Okay. If I want 6 people per group, then I'll say, okay, no messaging. I only want to pick from students, not from lecturers or instructors. And I want it to be allocated randomly, either by alphabetical name, first or last name and first name. These are options you do. And then I say, prevent last small group. Why? Because if we have a 9th group that will come on board, then that will be very hard. The other option will be for us to create based on groups, and maybe 7 groups, and then we'll be able to get what we want. If you say number of groups, then you say I want maybe 7. Let's take this, and this is 6. And then once we are done under grouping here, of course there is no grouping yet. Then you can preview what we've done for us to see exactly what we need to have. And this is what we will do. You discover that the first group has 7, 7, 7. The last two are having 6. Okay. The last two are having 6, and it's group A, B, C, D, and E. And if this is what you want, then you'll go ahead and say maybe submit. These groups will be created. Should we go ahead? Okay, let me go back.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yes, sir.
Previously, we used to have tutorial groups. What's the difference now? Tutorial groups or a new concept altogether?
It is not a new concept. It is the same still can apply.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I think that is okay. Students, okay, that is okay. Okay. So here,
is it possible to maintain these groups, or for every session you'll probably be having a randomized kind of groups?
it is possible to maintain these groups.
How do you do that?
That means you need to come up with an Excel sheet.
Okay. You can't export this one?
Now you wait, you have an Excel sheet, and then you
Okay.
can export. You can actually import. You can export this, group them, then you can import them back, but that will be too much work for you. We are going to see a third method for us to create groups also. Okay. So if you are done, we will say submit. Then we shall have groups created. We have group A has 7, group B has this is that. And that is using the auto create group. Now, if you want to manually create a group, because you know your students' capabilities and their strengths and so on, then you go to create group. And under create group, I want to create 2 groups rather. One group I'm going to call it e-learning basics of technology. So group name is e-learning. No, that is basics of e-learning. E-learning. Technology. You can describe what you want them to do. You describe that group in there. If you have any file to give them, that's where you put the file, and then you say save changes. That is group number 1. You go back and create another group, which is e-learning pedagogy for a teacher. So this is E. For a teacher. And then you also save the changes. So we have 2 groups. We have just created manually. We have these other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups that we created automatically. Now, the 2 that we have just created do not have any member. Because we know that X, Y, Z can be paired together, then we go now and put in members into these specific groups. So I go to the e-learning basics, and then I say add remove users. This takes me to a scenario where I am going to select the users I want in that specific group. So maybe I want this, I want all these into that group, select all of them, then I say add. So I'll have 13 members in that group. I go back to groups. When I go back to groups, then I look at the second group. I also go back and say add remove users. Because I know the first we had about 40 something, I think. Now I do not want to include any of these teachers, so the teachers I'm going to leave them out. Maybe I'll start with that. and take up to that. And then I'll say add. So this means I have one group has 9, the other one has 13. Now those are the people that I have put in my groups. If I go back here, I have the people in these groups. And these are the numbers. If I discover that I don't want to have Emma in group basics of e-learning, I want him under teacher, or I want him under teacher, simply click at group where he is. I go to Emma, of course, I go to add remove users. Then I go look for Emma's name. I remove Emma from that group. Then I can add any other person I want to add in that specific group. Probably I want to add Isaac. I'll click at Isaac, and then add Isaac to that group. Now the same thing will happen even to the groups that we automatically created. Yes, they were auto-created, but we can actually go ahead and edit these groups. Either add more members or remove more members. The same thing will actually work through. Okay. Even if you imported these groups, still the same thing will happen. When you go to overview, you'll be able to see the overview of what you've just created. So this is what we have created. Now these ones are not in any group yet. And that is what we call the overview of these groups. Now, after creating these groups, probably you have a Zoom account somewhere. Okay. You go to okay. So as you schedule your meeting, you give it a name, maybe discussion. Somewhere down, you have an option to have, let me see, breakout room pre-assign. Then you can create your rooms. How many rooms do you want to create? Okay, maybe you want 2. So the first one, you're calling it e-learning pedagogy. Okay, and then the second one, you're calling it basics. Of using technology. Okay. So the third one here you can remove. And then because you don't have the users yet, what you'll do is simply save this, then go ahead and create your meeting. Now, as you give this link to these people to come and attend your meeting, okay, as you give them this link to attend your meeting, you're going to let them know under groupings here, you're going to communicate to them. You go to participants, where? When you go to participants, sorry. Participants. It's moving slowly. This is users, enrolled users. So these are the enrolled users in my course. You can select them and give them instructions on what they need to do. Select all the 40. Once you're done selecting all the 40, then you say send a message. Then you say, yeah, students, we have groups. We have 2 groups, and based on your group, when you join the meeting link below, move to named after your group name, and then you send. Oh, I've not attached. So you do that. Okay, then you do send. So that means all of them will be able to receive that message in their inboxes because you have communicated to them. So when they log into their Zoom window, each of them will be able to move to their specific rooms, and that's how that would work. If, for example, still your e-learning is attached to, see, if your e-learning is attached, we have a Zoom account attached to that e-learning, simply go to add activity or resource. Still it works. Then that means you're going to attach automatically from the word go. You go to, oh, this is not yet installed. Oh, it's not yet there. But you'd open up a Zoom icon under activities. You open a Zoom. That are the resources. You open a Zoom, and then you go and attach to a specific group, as we saw when we were looking at the chats and discussion forums. I hope I've been able to respond to that. Now, that is as far as groups are concerned. So if you have a resource, maybe you have, let me go and edit one of the things that we have in here. I have a brainstorming session. I can edit this, go and common settings, and then I can attach to probably a separate group, and then I look out for, I'll get insert group. Why is it not reflecting? Where have I put the groups? I think I've put in a different unit. Okay. Okay. We are going to see how it works out again still. Now, before I leave the groups section, there is a grouping bit also. Now, this means that students can be allocated more than one group. And course admin and okay, users, groups. So where students can be allocated more than one group, So far we have basics of technology and we also have e-learning. Assuming after having gone through this, we want to have a third group that is evaluating e-learning and course content development. So I'll go to groupings, whereby groupings are a set of groups put together. I create a grouping. Okay. I'll say the first grouping I'm creating is e-learning, evaluating e-learning and content development. That is content development. This is a merger of both groups. Okay. Then you say save changes. The next item would be, how do I merge these two groups? And that is the basics of using technology and e-learning pedagogy, because I want them now to come together and discuss a topic together. Now, under the edit section, there is this button here that shows groups in groupings. I'll go to that, click at it, and then I say I want e-learning pedagogy. I also want this to be under that grouping. So that becomes the grouping. I can go back and create another grouping based on what I want. So now another grouping. So what do I need? I want to have group A, D, and E. So just grouping. Okay, I save. Come to that icon section, that someone. I want A, I want C, I want E under that grouping. So if we went to go back to groups and groupings, if I went back to overview, I should be able to see some of these things. I think you can see. These are not in any grouping yet. Group A, C, and E are in some grouping. There's also another grouping for basic technology and e-learning under one other grouping. One has 9, the other has 13, 7, 7, and so on. And that is what it is. So you're trying to rearrange your groups. Now, when you will come back here, let me reload and refresh. I have a resource, I have a discussion forum. Where's my forum? Edit settings. And then common settings, have groups, then groupings. I have these groupings I've already created. So I can attach a grouping. That means they are going to discuss this. Okay. And then I'll simply save and return to course. I can go back to the chat session also. Go to settings, brainstorming session. I can attach a grouping to this also. Under common mode settings, I want visible groups. Then I can say, and then save and return to course. So that is as far as groupings are concerned. Any question? Okay.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much for the exposure to us of the groups. Now I'm asking, is it appropriate for me to summarize what you have delivered as the theories of grouping for e-learning? give it that title. I give it that title, the theories of groupings or grouping for e-learning.
It is okay, sir. Yes, it is okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hope I've understood. I think it is okay. Of course, we
Yes,
want to be.
to me, it looks we are going through the steps. In other words, the theories of steps. So one could be easily call it the theories of grouping in a loose, okay, in a loose way.
The loose language.
In loose language, the theories of
Yeah,
grouping.
in the first place, we want to look at the theoretical bit of it, of what groupings is all about and why it is done. Then we went ahead and practically went through the groupings themselves, created groups, attached different resources to these groups for people to be able to learn. So I want to believe that if you came in as a student now, we can have some people coming in as students. I think we can have, let me see, for us to exactly see what we've been trying to bring out. Can I have, let me see, groups. Yes, we have Joseph Asega on call. Please share your screen with us. Joseph, share your screen with us. Okay. Go to groups. Or go to dashboard. Sorry, go to dashboard.
Yes.
Okay, go to that course.
Okay.
E-learning concept, yes, e-learning concept.
Yes.
Okay, move down to either the forum or you go to the forum or chat session again. Go to the forum.
Where do I get?
Slightly below that. Let me see. Go down. Discussion. There's a discussion there. Above.
Yes, yes.
Yep. Open
Okay.
it.
Yes.
Okay, this was attached to you. This is, let me see. Let me just hold on. I want to check something here.
Gerard Majela Mutumba, can we be part of your class there, please? Your microphone is not muted.
Yes, sorry.
Just a moment. I'm checking out something here. Check the group you belong to. You belong to basics of e-learning. That's what you belong to, and I think that is what I gave. Basics of e-learning, and then e-learning pedagogy. What did I give e-learning pedagogy? Let me see. Okay. E-learning pedagogy. Okay. I just need to correct something here for you to be able to get a difference between the two. Basics of e-learning.
Do I stop sharing the screen?
No. Please stay where you are. Where is the discussion forum? It is here. Okay. Turn on editing. Okay. Discussion forum. Okay. Okay. I said visible. I'm going to make it separate for us to be able to get a distinction. Settings. Okay. Separate. So this is Joseph Asega, right?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay. Groups. Okay. I have to make sure that under groupings, you don't belong to any of the groupings that I have mentioned in this. Okay. Groups. A, Joseph Asega is not there. C, you're there. I need to remove you. Okay. Remove. Please refresh on your screen. Okay. Move back one step. Okay. Okay. Discussion. Okay, good. Okay. Refresh now.
Myself?
Yep. Refresh. Go to dashboard. Go to dashboard.
Yes.
Dashboard.
Oh, dashboard, yes.
Okay, go back to the course. I want you to see if you can access discussion about content development as a forum we had today. Okay. Go down. Continue. Okay, we are somewhere there. Do you have the discussion forum? You don't have it.
I don't have it.
Yes. Why? Because we have assigned it to a different group, not your group.
Okay.
So that's how the separate groups will work out. That you group these people separately, your learners differently, and then you attach a specific activity to a specific group. Yep. But I thank you very much. It's already 1 p.m. I want to release you. You will move for lunch. And
Okay, thank you so much.
Emma, yes, Emma, you are unable to create a group because you're not yet a teacher. You don't have teacher rights in that particular course unit. But we are going to give you a training section, a platform, where you'll be practicing all of this probably come Friday. Thank you. Amitu, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we go for lunch, then we'll come back at 2 p.m. Thank you very much.